Welcome to Channel 24. I'm Natalia Lutsenko, and here are your top headlines. Germany is preparing to place some of the largest defense orders in its modern history, according to sources cited by Reuters. The country is set to procure 20 Eurofighter jets, up to 3,000 Boxer armored vehicles, and around 3,500 Patria infantry fighting vehicles over the next decade. The planned acquisitions are part of Chancellor Friedrich Merz's broader strategy to build Europe's most powerful military force, reduce reliance on the United States, and assume greater responsibility for European security. The order for the Eurofighter jets alone is expected to cost from 4 till 5 billion euros, while the Boxer vehicles produced by Rheinmetall could reach 10 billion euros. The cost of the Patria is estimated at 7 billion euros. The procurement will be spread out over the next 10 years and marks a significant shift in Germany's defense posture aimed at increasing geopolitical tensions on the continent. Russian President Putin doesn't deserve additional time, and now is the moment to act swiftly on a sanctions bill, says U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal to Ukrainian media. He is sure that U.S. must move faster with the sanctions bill. He is strongly advocating for sanctions at 500%, not 100%. According to the senator, there are currently 85 supporters of the sanctions legislation in the U.S. Senate, and reaching the necessary 90 votes is entirely possible. This is the moment to act, he added, calling for the vote to show support for Ukraine and unity between the president and Congress. He emphasized that the sanctions bill could help stop the war and reaffirmed Putin must be held accountable. The Kremlin has dismissed a new deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump, who warned that Russia must make progress toward ending its war in Ukraine within 10 days or face tariffs and other measures. According to a report by the Institute of Study of War, senior Russian officials have shown no intention of complying. Instead, they reaffirmed Moscow's interest in continuing the war. Former President and Deputy Chair of Russia's Security Council Dmitry Medvedev wrote on X that Trump cannot dictate the timeline for peace negotiations. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov added that Russia would continue the war to defend its interests regardless of Washington warning. Peskov also said that while Russia remains open to normalizing relations with the U.S., such progress would require mutual impulses and is currently hindered by strained diplomatic ties. He noted this could complicate future talks on strategic arms control, including the renewal of the New START treaty. Institute of Study of War analysts believe these statements are part of a broader Kremlin strategy to pressure Washington into abandoning the Ukraine deadline in exchange for renewed bilateral cooperation on issues unrelated to the war, such as arms control or economic deals. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that Ukrainians who fled the war will likely be allowed to remain in the United States until the war is over. Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, the U.S. has provided refuge to tens of thousands of Ukrainians, according to Forbes. More than 187,000 Ukrainians arrived in the U.S. through the Uniting for Ukraine U4U program. Russian-born oil tycoon Yevgen Shvidler has lost his legal challenge at the UK Supreme Court to overturn sanctions imposed on him by the British government in 2022. His assets remain frozen, and doing business with him remains a criminal offense. The sanctions were introduced due to his ties to Roman Abramovich and his role as a former board member of Yoraz, a Russian steel and mining company. Shvidler argued that the measures were unfair and harmed his family, as his British citizen children lost their places at elite private school. The court acknowledged the sanctions were severe and open-ended, but ruled they were proportionate and served the legitimate aim of deterring Russian aggression in Ukraine. The UK government welcomed the ruling, stating it reinforces the strength of UK sanctions regime and its commitment to holding Putin's enablers accountable. During a session of the World Conference in Geneva, delegates from multiple countries staged a walkout in protest as Valentina Matvienko, a senior Russian official, began her speech. In a powerful gesture against Russia's war and its presence in democratic forums, participants left the hall, leaving Matvienko to address a nearly empty room. This was a clear stand against the aggressor and a show of solidarity with the people of Ukraine. I'm deeply moved so many colleagues stood with us, said Olena Kondratyuk, Deputy Speaker of Ukraine's Parliament. This was all for now. For more content, please subscribe.